Okay, so we've imported our model into Maya, and I guess quick review. Your Alt or Command key on the Mac, left mouse button, dolly, uh, middle mouse button, hold down, pan, right mouse button, zooms in and out. That's some of your basic navigation. It's the same in Mudbox, which is kind of nice. One of the things you'll immediately notice is that your model is huge in comparison to your world. So let's just strike that to select all of those elements, and I'm going to do a scalar point 1 tab point 1 tab point 1 to scale that down uniformly point 1. And of course, you know that you can hold your keyboard here to move through your windows. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to use my scale function now to scale this down even more. I'm going to scale this down quite small to about 4 or 5 units because I'm going to use my F key to bring that into the focus, and W key to move here, and make that a size that I can deal with a lot better there. And I'm going to come over here and go into this window and come in here like so. And it just makes the model a lot more manageable because it just comes in at a much larger size in the Mudbox environment. And now we can take a look at our model. If you like, you can come over here and turn the grid off if you want to do some of this work. The grid will come in helpful down the line for what we're doing. But let's go through some methods that we can use to close off this model. We're going to work with this outer shell. Let's go to edit. We're going to freeze our transformation so that we lock everything and make this the new normal. Edit, freeze, modify, freeze transformations. Modify, freeze transformations. That sets everything here back to normal. Now, one of the things that we want to do, we want to bring our select menu, and we're going to rip that off so that we have that as a standalone. We don't really need edit mesh. I can close that. I want the select menu ripped off like that because we're going to work with that exclusively. One of the things that we want to do, we want to come in here and get our border edge tool, select border edge, and we're going to come in here, we're going to click here, we're going to click along here, and that selects a border edge. Okay, you'll notice that. Okay, now the easiest way, one of the easiest ways to close this off is to, once that's selected, we want to use our extrude tool. And what we want to do, we have our manipulator here. We want to set that to the center. So we want to do our extrusions from the center. And the first thing that we want to do is that we want to move down like so. We want to pull our edge down like so. Okay, but you notice that we still sort of have that sort of like curved shape here. And one of the things that you can do with that shape is to let's go into our front window for right now and bring that up, or better yet, let's go to the side window and maximize that. And what we're going to do, we're going to use our scaler to scale that. And what we want to do is that we want to transform that into a straight line, because what that does is that flattens out that edge. Okay, and let's zoom in on that a little bit so we can get a better view of it. And we want to scale it in this Y direction here. Okay. Now, like when you're in extrude mode, you can do translations, rotations, and scales, and you want to get that line as straight as possible. And now you notice that here we've got a collision there, and so that tells us we need to drop that down just a little further, like so. And that's flat. That's relatively flat, okay, which is what we want right now, okay. And so now what we can do is that we can go into our perspective window again, and we can hit our G key, which repeats the extrude command, which is what we want to do. And we want to set the pivot again in the center, and this time we want to use a scaler, and we're going to scale it in, because what we're going to do now, we're going to close off the bottom. So we close this off like this, and I'm going to set the number of divisions right here to 2 and hit enter, and that puts a ring inside here. It adds a divisional ring. Now I'm going to hit the F key, and I want you to see this. While this is selected, this is my hole, I'm going to come back over to my selections, and I'm going to do a convert selection to vertices, and that takes that edge and converts that to vertices. Okay, now this is a really neat trick. Okay, while that's selected and while you're in this mode, if you hold down the shift key and your right mouse button, that's going to bring up your polygonal options, some polygonal options for vertexes. Okay, and we want to do a merge vertex, and we're going to do merge vertices to center. And after it completes that merge vertices to center, you notice that it merged it to a single point. And now we have a watertight model that is ready for 3D printing. And that's a simple workflow for closing off your models in Maya from Mudbox, and now we have a inherent solid model. And so it's pretty straightforward workflow to use, and hopefully this will help you get the job done. I'm going to do another tutorial which shows a variation on this technique, which will allow you to use the same commands. Basically, we're going to work with the extrude command to add a great higher level of detailing to the work. But that'll be the subject of our next tutorial.